pleasure and privilege to be introducing Professor Jhunjhunwala. Professor Jhunjhunwala needs no introduction to this group. There are a couple of elements. I've gotten to know him quite recently. I'm not an alumnus of IIT Madras. I'm from IIT Bombay. But the couple of things that at least struck me in my interactions. First is how much he has pioneered industry, academy, interaction, collaboration. And Professor Jhunjhunwala, we hold up IIT Madras Research Park as an example when we discuss it in the IIT Bombay alumni circles. And the second is just what has been done for incubation. When I last checked, and I'm sure this number has increased, there were 220 companies already incubated at the IIT Madras Incubation Center. And today is going to talk about a very interesting topic around sort of what the IITs have done well in the last 70 years, but what, if you will, is the unfinished agenda of the IITs. I don't want to steal his thunder. It is really, the topic is cryptically called 10x goals by 2030, and he will explain what this 10x goals by 2030 is. The format is very simple. He's going to speak for 35-40 minutes, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. If people want, they can post questions on the chat. I will keep a log on it, and I'll try and moderate a little bit of a Q&A towards the end. Without any further ado, Professor Jhunjhunwala, it's my pleasure to hand the stage over to you.
Thank you, Ramesh. I don't mind being interrupted if you have an urgent question, because that will help me shape up my talk as we go on. And of course, I may choose to answer it immediately or say, just wait till the end. So I have titled my talk as Lessons from IITs and IIT MRP Journey and India's Future Challenge. Most of you may know that I've been in IIT for more than 50 years now. I have an IIT ecosystem in the sense that I went to IIT Kanpur in 1970. Then, of course, I graduated in 75 and went abroad. But I came back, and from 81 onwards, I'm sitting parked here at IIT Madras. Of course, keep on visiting IIT. I've helped in setting up new IITs, done all those things. But, and over the last few years, I've been reflecting quite a bit. What has IITs been doing? What was its original mandate? How far have we been able to achieve this? How far we have not been able to achieve this? And what all do we need to do? So I think that is what my talk is going to be. I'll start by, I think many of you must have heard that, know that yesterday, at the time of independence, India had practically no technological base and it needed rapid development and new technologies. Actually, we are fairly good about 200 years before our independence, but pretty much fairly destroyed by 1947 or so. And it's at that time our founding forefathers basically decided that 5 IITs to be created as cornerstones in building the industrial, scientific, and technological edifice of the nation. This was thought through and actually put forward as a resolution in 50s when IITs were created. And there are a few characteristics of IITs. The first, they were supposed to be fully autonomous institutions. But this is very unique because we were created autonomous institutions. Governments are not used to creating autonomous institutions, but they were created. In the charter itself, it was to be put. In the beginning, we were said that we will be initially supported by the best international universities. And that tie-up was also done. Fully funded by government of India, much higher than other institutions. And that has continued all throughout. And the key thing was quality was to be the landmark. That was the hallmark. So this was the initial challenge with which the IITs were created. Now what happened? If I look at it, by 70s, we had built a very strong undergraduate program, which could compete with the best of the world. Of course, many of our undergraduate students, including me, went abroad. And our undergraduate students, actually large percentage went to the United States and did extremely well, both in industry as well as in academia. By 70s, you could see that we were leaders in academia, we were leaders in in industry, even in the United States. And since then, we have been just going on and on. But I think what many people do not know, that by 80s, IITs had created very high quality master's graduates who would soon don leadership and become CXOs of industries all over India. You today go to a smallest town and there may be a decent size industry. And if you go there and you actually find one of the CXO, probably CTO, is IIT MTech. In fact, Chris Gopalakrishnan, Narayan Murthy, many of them were IIT MTechs. And in fact, in the IT industry growth also, our MTech played a very, very important role. By 1980s, our MTechs were very high quality. This is not as well known, not as celebrated, but it is true. By 1990s, we are creating a whole host of PhDs. And while some of them joined us in IITs and particularly in the expansion of IITs, many of them became faculty, lead faculty in the private engineering colleges. Now, something like 2,000-3,000 private engineering colleges, they are there. In the better off, you will find 2-3 IIT faculty. And today we produce 1 million engineers a year. But these million engineers, young engineers, helped India grow industry post-globalization. Particularly after 1981, the growth that has taken place, IT and everything else, you will see steel industry, any industry, and you will see the engineers have played a great role. And invariably, our PhDs would have taught them. Either they would be IIT students or our PhD would have taught them. So in terms of undergraduate, in terms of master students, in terms of our PhD students, we had made mark by the end of the century, last century. At the same time, faculty had started publishing quality papers in international journals. In 80s and 90s, you could see this. It was difficult in the beginning, but by now, our papers started getting recognized, and you were starting to create some star faculty from that point of view. But also remember that in spite of all this, IITs were evolving rapidly, and yet we are still not, our IITs were not cornerstone in building the industrial, scientific, and technology edifice of the nation. Indian industry was still importing most of the technology. Even to date, this is true. And even as it had adopted technologies for Indian market, their adoption was going on and using some local raw materials and subsystems. But by and large, we were importing. Our technologies was being imported. By turn of the millennium, actually the work started in mid-80s, but you could start seeing the impact only in the turn of the millennium. The IIT started thinking big in terms of technology development and commercialization. And that's a time this industry academia collaboration, I mean, I've heard it from 80s, but it was not one or two people, but in tens of faculty, you could see participating in industry academia collaboration. And also it was a turn of the century where we started creating startups. Now the startups were created largely when we did create technology, and we are not able to license it to existing industry because the industry was not willing to take enough risk associated with the innovative breakthrough technology. For example, when we did wireless in local loop, initially the industry was not willing to take risk, and we created a company. Similarly, we helped create Tejas and other Midas, Tejas. We helped create that. That's you see that those things starting to happen. That went slowly in the first decade of 2000. By late in 2000s, we had realized that understanding innovation thrives when faculty, industry person, and youngsters interact in the formal and informal environment. The faculty brought the width of the knowledge, industry brought the experience to convert a prototype into a product, and youngsters, the biggest strength was, and we used to have large number of youngsters coming from all the engineering colleges, IITs and other tier 2, tier 3 colleges. They did not know that it cannot be done. You try to take up a challenging task, the experienced people will say, no, cannot be done. It's true, cannot be done. The youngsters did not know that it cannot be done. And therefore, they will get into it. And they'll work with the faculty and industry person. And that's where impossible started becoming possible and innovation started thriving. And that's the way IIT Madras Research Park, around 2008, we started creating this. And we created this. Took us some time, but we built this. At the same time, recognize that Indian industry is risk averse. And startup drives innovation 18 hours a day. Now, this was important. Startup drives innovation continued. They work much harder. And this is known all over the world. IITM created IITM Incubation Cell and also Rural Technology and Business Incubator and MedTech Incubator and Biotech Incubator. So all this, so there are two parts, Research Park and Incubation Cell. And we house the Incubation Cell in the Research Park. So this is what happened in the decades of 2000 to 2010 to 2020. Now, just to look at what are the lessons from IIT Madras Research Park and IIT Madras Incubation Cell. We invested 500 crore in infrastructure. And we had only about 100 crore, 107 crore of seed money. We actually borrowed money of 400 crores. And what has happened in over 10 years, that we have paid back whatever we borrowed. We have less than 1 crore rupees still pending, and we have about 10 crore rupees cash. We can actually pay that, but we have kept that account alive by keeping certain things. And we actually generate, IIT Madras Research Park generates 40 crores of cash. We are not dependent on anyone. We are not government dependent. We don't get money from government. We never got money from IIT Madras, and we got some trickles from alumni in the beginning. We don't even get that. So what, at the same time, IITM Incubation Cell and Rural Technology and Business Incubator is financially self-dependent. Today, we have 240 companies. I'm sorry, this is not 220 companies. And we have 11,000 plus crore rupees valuation of this company. These are public valuation. When they raise money, this is the valuation we count, market valuation. And we do not consider anything else as a success. Just that you need to raise money at certain valuation. That's what gives your worth. And we count that, and we have 11,000 plus crore. And this is an underestimate. We haven't actually computed this for some time. And we are a board-driven companies. And the board has 12 industrialists and some faculty members. It's a fully autonomous institution from not only the government, but even from IIT administration. IITM, some director is a chairman. There are a few faculty, but we are a board-driven. Our board is M.M. Murugappan, Chris Gopalakrishnan, Mohan Pai, Ram Raj, who is who. And they keep on demanding that you have done very well, but do more. We have a faculty council of IIT Madras Research Park, which provides the collaboration guideline. We have independent committees with external members for seed funding and notes. Now, we have done very well. But the important point is the original mission of IITs are still untouched. Industrial, scientific, and technological edifice of the nation is still weak. We are still importing most of the technologies. And if a question that was asked to me, and at times asked, in how many areas are you amongst the technology leader in the world? And I look this side, that side. Yes, we are very good at IT services. We are probably very good in space, but not very far. Why are we not technological leader more? So that's a question that is asked. And that's what board challenged us, saying that you achieved impossible for the 10 years. We never believed that you can start earning so much cash and do so well and generate so much incubation and do so well. But it is the next 10 years. Now, by 2030, take a 10x goals. And this time, not just for IITs, Madras and IITs and IITM Research Park and Incubation Cell. Take the goals for the country, that you will put India somewhere. Go back to the original motion, resolution, industrial, scientific, technological edifice of the nation. You are in best position to put that. You do that. Other IITs, research parks will and incubation cell will follow. You do the need. And they asked us to come up with very, very challenging, impossible goals. And I'm going to talk about those impossible goals. Those impossible goals are for the country. not for IIT Madras. IIT Madras and Research Park, along with other IIT, we are supposed to achieve that. First goal, 10x goal, is scale commercialization of innovative technologies. And what was the goal? Said, take 30 to 50 product companies by products where R&D is done from India. Take 30 to 50 over 10 years and take it to 1,000 crore rupees per year revenue. Each of these products, take it to 1,000 crore rupees per year. India is a very large market. R&D is not often translated to large-scale commercialization. Do that. If you can get to 1,000 crore, beyond that, they will do it on their own. That should be your task. India is a large market and do that. 30 to 50, 3 to 5 every year. Just get on to it and do it. No question asked, do or die, get there. That is the goal. Now, those technologies can come from anywhere, internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. Identify them. There should be breakthrough technology which can result into large-scale commercialization, and then do everything that is required. Don't limit yourself. Your objective is to get them to 1,000 crore. Of course, you need to assess the maturity of technology and product. You understand the market potential, commitment capability of innovators, and decide to accept or reject. But do it fast. And you work with select mentors. And if incubation cell and research park should be seen as one, and get there. This is a task and look like an impossible task, and we took it upon ourselves. Now we realize that this is a large task. It requires understanding product, market, marketing strategy, delivering process review, delivery process review, independent validation and buzz creation, connects, help in product development, do whatever is required. And we started to identify first home technology, whatever we knew within research park, and then go outside. We identified companies like Twin Health, products like that where R&D was largely done in India. Detect. We have a few question mark. We have with question mark identified ZB. We have a motor controller battery group, EVs, they're doing very well. Small, medium solar is a very, very promising technology. Question marks are the one we have not gone full-fledged. Twin Health and Detect, we have gone full-fledged. And we said we will have to make them 1,000 crore rupees per year in the next few years. What will be the role? What will we ask you? Role of our alumni. We identify technologies, ventures, efforts where success is possible. And they can come from anywhere in India. From any institutions, from any R&D labs, from any industry, small, big. You think that's a challenge worth taking? We are ready to examine that. Number two, our request is get involved in one venture or other to help. I don't have a full understanding how to involve, how to what to do for mentoring, connects. We have some understanding. We are ready to work with you. If you are interested, we are ready to work with you to figure this out. And as I told you, 2 companies we have already taken in last 3 to 4 months. Remember that this task was taken around March or April. And 2 companies, we have taken a Twin Health, a company, which has a very unique technique, AI work, which reverses type 2 diabetes. Reverses, does not just completely reverses. We actually validate their technology and effectiveness. In fact, I've chosen to be a patient, even though I don't have diabetes, to understand what it means. Review the patient data. There is a RCT going on. We have examined the RCT by some IITM faculty panel. We are partnering in sensor development, app development, training of health coaches, operation process involvement, marketing, and we say we will do whatever is required to get to 2,000 crore. Similarly, Detect technology. I mean, both Twin Health and Detect technologies have been set up by our alumni. Real-time industrial asset monitoring using sensor and drones with AI-based analytics. Lower risk of in-service failure, longer asset life. They have done extremely well for the last several years. We are again doing technical validation with a faculty panel. We are aiding in market expansion budget. We are creating training technical staff, helping them in solving difficult problems. We are partners in making them 1,000 crore rupees. we will be taking more companies. This was the goal number one. Very challenging goal. And we have said 30 to 50 companies, you must see. We have first year, we have done 2 plus 3. Now we are not, first year is not over. And we will be doing more. The goal number 2. We are told that yes, you are doing very well with startups. 240 startups, last 10 years, doing very well. Only about 15 to 16% failure. But what is 40 to 50 startups per year? Go to 1,000 startups per year. Enable our ecosystem to emerge as the natural leader of incubation and innovation across the country without imposing ourselves. Go to 50 to 100 campuses, particularly those which are not strong. Other IITs which are strong, we don't have to help. They don't need our help. Go to ones which are in tier 2, tier 3 towns. Tie up with them. Create a partnership. We should help them incubate and enhance their chances of success with the equal partnership, not a junior partnership. Their name will come first, our name will come next. Must be equal. Any equity that we may take, 2, 3, 4%, will share equally. Reputation that we will take will share equally. Select incubators, access, make them your own, and go full-fledged. How do you go about doing this? We do first scouting and partnership with institutions. And we have gone to places. In the first year, in last 6 months, we have tied with KSR Institute in Europe, Sona in Salem, Crescent in Chengalpet, Great Lakes in Chennai, MAMSET in Trichy, Maxcelerator in Madurai. You may not even heard of some of these names. But these are good institutions. We heard about them from PALS program and for other programs. The leadership is good. We went and tied with them. We are helping them set this other lab. One of the big problem, like in IIT, in all these institutions, we teach theory. People rarely learn to build things. We are creating this other lab where we essentially create a culture of building things. We will help create excitement there by talks by successful entrepreneurship, experiential talk, innovation challenge, essentially create a lot of excitement. And then we do nurturing and tracking. And I'll talk more about nurturing and tracking. Monthly board mentoring, training, investment, technology connect, networking. What do we want from alumni? We want from you mentors. Our alumni here has already committed to 100 mentors. We want many more. We want 1,000 mentors, probably more. We have just started a little angels fund. Now, angel funding, most of you know. Angel funding, Chennai Angels, Delhi Angels, all India Angels, Mumbai Angels, they essentially invest between 2.5 crore to 10 crore rupees. They don't invest. We are able to support them for the first 50 lakhs. The 50 lakhs to 2 crore is a gap. We have created a little angels fund where we are going to ask 500 IITians and industrialists and people like me who also today can invest, can ready to commit to 10 to 20 lakhs rupees investment a year. And we will have a investment committee. People like Ram Raj will be there on the committee. And we will identify those where 60, 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 1.2 crore rupees could be invested. And if you are part of the Little Angels Fund, you can choose to invest as low as 2 lakhs. You spread it over 4 or 5 companies, spread your risk, you will certainly get returns. We like our alumni to provide us connects and all kinds of things. We'll discuss this further as we go on. This is something, we'll send you a separate note of why we want you to be there. The nurturing is the most important thing. This is what we learned. This is the reason IIT Madras Incubation Cell stands out. Right after creating excitement, when people come to us, we do a reality check. Reality check is essentially a process of de-excitement. We ask hard questions. Are you really ready? Do you really understand what an incubation is? You will get no money for the next couple of years. You will fail and succeed. You'll have to manage all kinds of things, building market, building team, cash flow. Do you have that ability to learn? Most people do not. We essentially send them back, work with them till we see the strength, the inner strength in them, that they are ready to jump into it. Only then we start helping them. And we start helping them and then we do monthly board meeting, a bi-monthly mentoring, tracking every quarterly. Sorry, I think somebody is putting all kinds of things. Training, concept to product development, funding, communities, digital platform we have created. We do all kinds of things. We have learned that these things help, and we are doing that to really nurture them to success. This, unless we handhold them and do that, just creating an incubator and funding them will not work. Funding will be a small component. In fact, we don't fund easily. Funding should be made difficult. You don't give easy money. Easy money hurts our incubated companies. So this is the second goal, and we want to incubate by 2030, 1,000 companies a year in with our partners. The goal number 3 is a very different kind of goal, making of a rancho. Now this term rancho, we have taken from this movie 3 Idiots. Many of you have seen it. It's a tech wizard. We are talking about making of a tech wizard. Now we have 1 million engineering graduates every year from in India. And yet you go to the industry. I had gone to Mahindra and asked them, how many people will be in top 1% or 2% of technologists in the world in their respective field with you? I asked Pawan Goenka, who was the managing director of Mahindra. And he kind of looked here, there. He says, maybe 1, maybe 2. Why doesn't our industry have this top 2% of the technologists in the world? And we see that, yes, the people who go abroad, we see people have become top 1-2%. So Indians too become 1-2%. Top 1-2% from IIT and from other institutions. But from within India, there are very few. And we have then said, we will create, our ecosystem will create 500 such ranchos by 2030 every year. How which will do? We today employ 1,200 fresh engineers every year. Our ecosystem, IIT Madras Research Park, and our startups, our centers, our companies, and IIT Madras project staff. Many of them we find have done well in the schools and have dreamt of being a good scientist, but they have lost themselves somewhere in the college. We need to reignite them dream. Fresh graduates to high quality engineering talent. Motivate them to work diligently, long hours, under the guidance of some of our faculty members and senior engineer leaders in industry or startups. Learn from each other, get inspired. Huge learning becomes possible. Create an environment where your dreams are reignited. Challenge them. Get them to believe that it doesn't matter whether you went to Tier 4 engineering college. You can still become the top 2%. Become amongst the best. Learn by doing. We are going to create the Build Lab at IIT Madras Research Park, where you will go and spend 20 hours and we'll give you guidance to build an embedded processor card or to build a payment gateway. We are going to create 25 to 30 such courses where you'll build. We'll build a bridge, small bridge, design and build one. We'll enroll them in part-time MS or PhD. This is what we'll do. And we'll, of course, start with the management buy-in, whether of the companies or of the centers or of the startups. And we already have got 8 or 9 companies who said, we'll work with you. In less than a few months, we're able to do that. Our team has been able to do that. And we have program for our team leaders and for our awards. As I told you, for awards, motivate, build courses, MS, PhD, teach them soft skill, domains training, mentoring and tracking, evaluation of team leaders, counseling. At the same time, for the team leaders, motivate them and say, creating Rancho is one of your tasks. It is extremely satisfying task. It will really help you and get there. What is the role of an alumni? Alumni has to help us in this. You know, you are a role model. If you are very good, you are a role model. You have to come and give talk that any youngsters, I think many of you have huge experience that any youngster with, it doesn't matter how they went, did in their college. I have, for example, seen many 6.5 pointers from IIT become the best, and from tier 2, tier 3, ordinary people becoming the best. Many of them, you are many of them. You may be a guy done very well after IIM. Get them to become technology experts. Help create subject experts. Come and do subject workshop, mentor, motivational program. We need your help to get us there. Goal number 4. We want to see that in 5 areas, India becomes amongst the world's top 5. There are not many areas where India is amongst the top 5. By 2030, we want to see in 5 areas, world will know India is amongst the top 5. And we will take the leadership in getting it done. We need your help in getting this done. In 5 sectors, to take the leadership, we have to be among the top 5 in those 5 sectors. We have to do everything: policy, technology, industry, implementation, nothing to stop us. Unless India is in the top 5, we can't say this is our task. We'll partner with whoever is required. Identify areas based on IITM's strengths, because that's our strength. We'll begin with that. Complemented by capable, incubated startup and industry partners. And then with our alumni, potential to make large impact in the country and in the world. Identify leaders, not just technical leadership. You really need leadership strength. Those who are committed to put India on the top. And not just self-oriented. They have to put India on the top. If that is the strength that we have, help us identify those leadership. For example, one of the first areas that we identified about 5-6 months back, that, towards 100% renewable energy. Get India towards 100% renewable energy. Let India be known by 2030 that India is among the top 5 nations making that effort. Now, what is the reason? This is my area, I'll take a few minutes to talk about it. India is today 103rd in the per capita GHG emission. And therefore, sometimes the government take the position that, well, we are not the main culprit for this, what is happening to the world. So don't blame us, don't put the onus on us. But remember that we are also 3rd in total GHG emissions. And see the way we are growing. Our GDP is growing, our demand is growing, our energy is growing. All these numbers are there. We will very soon be in number 2. Whether we like it or not, we are the main culprit. And if we don't do the things, we are going to contribute to destruction of this world. And therefore, it is our role to see that we put India there. How do you do that? Well, a very simple thing that we did, we said IIT Madras Research Park, 1.2 million square feet, consumes about 40 megawatt hour a day. We will make it completely green. And we will make it green by saving money. We'll invest, we'll do pilots, that's all right. But finally, it will save us money. If I take my total cost to make us green, leave aside the R&D and pilot. If I take the total cost of implementation, my energy cost will come down per kilowatt hour. Today, I pay around 11 rupees per kilowatt hour. My target is I'll get to 8 rupees per kilowatt hour. And then I sort of say, well, I'm not alone. There are 40,000 such commercial complexes. If I can gain by doing this, all the 40,000 commercial complexes can gain. Then there is industry. Industry consumes about 45% of this. They also pay huge. They pay 8 rupees, 9 rupees. They will also gain. In the meantime, our costs of doing this will come down. And then urban high-income group housing. High-income group housing has enough money. We are the one who have the ability to invest. As long as there is return on investment, we are ready to invest. work on technology and process where people who can invest will invest and in process gain and also become green. And that is 70% area. And we can all reach 80%. So my feeling is that India can become 50% green in about 10 years time. Not everybody can get it in 5 years. 5 years will start getting there and do that. It will basically mean that somewhere we will get solar and wind generation. Just now we have signed, Research Park has signed for 2 megawatt solar generation. We'll soon sign up for 2 megawatt wind generation, 200 kilometers away, another 1 or 2 megawatt solar generation. We'll wheel it at IIT and we will put local storage, both chilled water storage. We have created a very big chilled water storage because we consume 40% of our energy is in chilled water. Plus we are putting a large battery. And therefore, whenever solar and wind is generated, we are going to bring the energy here and then use it whenever we require. And in the process gain. If this becomes a model, we can probably get to 40 to 50% here in next 7 to 8 years, 10 years. We have then divided this is work that we have done along with the faculty at IIT. What is in R&D stage? What is in innovation stage? What is in commercialization stage? Research Park is about commercialization. If we can't do commercialization, we let the R&D sit in IIT. But if we can take that to innovation commercialization, that's where the Research Park comes in. Identify technology, fund R&D, but very soon we should identify what can be done in 0 to 5 years, what towards this, what can be done in 5 to 10 years, what can be done in 10 to 15 years, and in India and win. Then, of course, we'll require pilots, like what we are doing at Research Park. Prove technology and economic viability. Funding pilots will be required. We'll require some help there. Early implementation. Prove readiness to scale. There, we will require some policy intervention, some financial and tax incentive. So we'll work on policy also. We'll have to build a market. But beyond that, we believe full-scale implementation, market ready, we should get there. And what can we get there in 5 years? What can we get there in 10 years? And what can we get there in 10 to 15 years? And this chart, along with our colleagues at Research Park and at IIT, we have tried to say, this is what we can do in 0 to 5 years and take it to commercial. This is what we can do in 5 to 10 years. This is what we can do in 10 to 15 years. And we'll keep shifting this. We'll keep adding and then work with it. Even our collaboration with international universities will be like this, because our goal is in 2030, get India to be amongst the top 5. And our goal is, 10X goals are do or die. No other option. What is the role of identify? Well, we have just chosen one area. Help us identify. Why? Because this is something that we are absolutely confident. But we are starting to identify other area. For example, we've almost come to the conclusion that assistive technology, we have faculty like Sujata Srinivasan, Anil Pravakar, Mohan Shankar, who are fairly strong. We probably need something more than that. But can in that area, we can become amongst the world's best top 5? We will soon take a decision. Help us identify areas. As soon as we see IITM strength, Research Park strength, alumni strength, we are ready to jump in. We'll request you to get involved in at least one of these areas, one of the TEDx areas, or in this area where we want to become India too. This is the work that you need to do for India. This is your dharma. You are amongst the best. You have got best educated. You need to contribute. Then I will have to ask you and discuss with with Alumni Club, Anand Krishnam, what else can alumni do to help us with 10X? Remember, 10X, we have taken the initiative, but it is India goal. This you remember. Finally, can we, IIT Madras Research Park and Incubation Cell, achieve these 10X goals? They look like impossible goals. When we initially started saying that we'll build Research Park and Incubation Cell, and we will be self-dependent, and we'll build 500 crore rupees worth infrastructure, everybody said it. Our own board says it's impossible. But in the last 10 years, we've achieved this. We have again taken 4 or 5. The 5th one is related to IIT Madras. I have not spoken about it because this is a larger alumni audience. We have taken 5 impossible goals. Can we achieve that? This question is asked. Well, the only answer for me is we need to achieve this because we consider ourselves to the best in India. I'm not talking about IIT Madras, IIT as a whole. It has talent. India has market size. If we cannot, who else can? And therefore, we need to achieve it. All we need is a will. And we are probably in the best position to drive this. Others will join. Others may take leadership, which is great. We will leverage IIT Madras and its associated and alumni of all IITs, ISC and IIMs, and we will get there. This is India's goal, and we have to do or die. Everybody who works with me on this, they say you need to do or die. What is there for you to live if you cannot put India there? And I'm not looking at India in a narrow manner. I'm looking at it from a humanity point of view, because India has been in a bad position, and with 1/6 or 1/7 of our population, we need to do this. If we do this, the whole world can follow, and world can come along with us. I'm not even, they don't even need to follow. And that's the reason we do it. I will stop here. I'll stop sharing, and then please turn your videos on if you can, so that as many of you people I can see, and please start asking questions. If I see people, it becomes easier. I'm very happy that about 100 people have joined together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor, for a very inspiring presentation, for almost exhorting us to get involved in this journey. I will throw the floor open to questions. Anand, I think your question has been answered many times over. I think the the task is now up to the IIT Alumni Center to get back to Professor with a response. I see one question, Professor, around sort of the interest of the younger generation in hardcore tech versus, I guess, e-commerce and consumer and all of that. I don't know if you want to start with that.
Well, I don't know the question. Can you read the question, please? Because
yeah, the question is, at present days, the interest for engineering courses, especially courses like mechanical, keeps declining. Is there anything we can do to overcome that?
Well, I don't see. I think, first of all, as an engineer, you have to become interdisciplinary engineer. You may have started your career or your education in one area. You know, I have had 8 PhD students in 8 different areas. Every time you learn something. You can't. I see Kannan here. He's a professor of practice at IIT Madras. Our alumni, 87. He's mechanical engineer. Today he's doing electrical motor. He's learning circuits. I think today you have to become interdisciplinary. Engineer, maybe only at the beginning of the career you are XX engineer. After that, you are there to solve problems. Any problem you can learn and do this. Some you may do more, better. Some you can do less better. For example, I still don't get fluid mechanics. Even though I had a great teacher like Professor C.V. Shadi taught me. But I can go to others. I can go and take help from others. Pradeep I'll sit down with him and he will teach me. Chakravarti will teach me. So I think we have to learn from. In fact, most of my communication I've learned from my younger colleagues like Bhaskar Ramurthy. And today I'm learning from even younger colleagues who are my students. They are teaching me. You need to do that. A good engineer has to. And it is not about engineering. I have people in my teams who have come from all kinds of backgrounds. And I'm learning from, they are contributing. Because any time you want to become world's best, you need multidisciplinarity. You want to see that if 30 to 50 products become 1,000 crore rupees, you require multidisciplinary. You need the best marketing people. You need the people who understand product. You need best HR resources. Similarly, when you want to create ranchos, you need very different. I'm working with our management faculty member. There is one of our management faculty member, Rima. Our
Professor Richa.
Professor Richa, she is teaching us marketing. There is Professor Vici, she is teaching us what is coaching. So I think we need all discipline. Our humanities faculty members have come and set up a company which is teaching soft skills, teaching how to really communicate, how to write, how to create your website, whole lot of things. We need people who are good in every area. And in India, we are producing, while I took the example of 1 million engineering graduates, there are people, graduates, there are probably 4 or 5 million graduates in college graduates, and we need to really leverage all of them. Thank you.
Sanjay, I can see Sanjay's hand up. Maybe you go.
So
next.
please ask question. If
Yeah.
you yourself can ask question.
Yeah,
If you
Sanjay
turn
is
your
asking.
video, it is great. If you
Yeah,
don't,
sure.
you don't need to spotlight me. I want to see Sanjay Trivedi.
Yeah.
Good to hear from Sanjay.
Well,
Sanjay is
thank
my
you.
classmate, by the way.
Yeah, Ashok, you did an excellent presentation, very motivational. I just wanted to share two things. As your batchmate and as a alumni of IITK, I've already started working with the faculty there, with the chemical engineering department, to create some sustainable processes and develop things. I'm just giving two comparative examples. I've started with IITK a year and a half ago, and we are still at the stage of documentation. It just takes forever. And at the parallel platform, I started with NUS in Singapore to develop new membrane technologies for stopping the use of thermal energy for chemical processes. And that is already done. The research on the membranes completed. A company has been formed. It's been funded by the state for $500,000. So what I'm saying is it's a combination of speed and getting to targets, which is very important.
I agree with you completely.
I think that is a
Completely agree with
combination
you.
that has to work.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I apologize on behalf of us faculty, whether from IIT Kanpur or IIT Madras. I think some of us have not jumped and learned this. Research Park is teaching us. Please, Sanjay, visit us. You are next door almost. You just have to jump and you will land up in Chennai.
No,
Visit
I will
us
do that.
ASAP, and you will see the kind of live energy. Don't look at examples where things are, you don't see the energy. Jump where there is a big energy. I agree with you. And see, Research Park is not IIT. We are not bound by those rules and all that. I think we can jump, and these kind of things are being set up in all IITs.
I'll come and see you at
Thank you. Thank you.
at the Madras.
Next
Sure.
person.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
I
can
saw a couple
discuss
of-
more.
Yeah, sure.
I saw a couple of others. I saw Santa. Kritika, do you want to turn your video on, ask the question? Otherwise, we prefer for
Somebody
people
can
to
read
ask.
the question if it is there in the
Hello.
chat box.
Professor,
Yeah, Ramakrishnan.
I'm
Yes.
Ramakrishnan. Professor, I completed my engineering degree long time back, 25 years back. Probably I read a lot of articles today. Very fortunate to hear your lecture. Actually IIT Madras is fortunate to have as a professor. Actually, my only doubt is the technology has spoiled the students in my point of view. When I was a student, I depend upon the teacher. Even if bring the teachers used to take class without ever any notes. He will take all derivation and all, and also depend on waiting for the teacher to get the material. Now that Google, all those things are coming, the teaching has been become something different, and students are no more depend upon the teacher. Probably they are. I am honorable. I am totally agree. They are very knowledgeable than professors. That's nothing wrong. But that gap has come. How do you overcome that difficulty?
No, when we were students in 1970, I remember I talked to our teachers at that time, and they said that they thought that we were no good. And we turned out to be very good. Then in 80s, when I started teaching, my first reaction was student thing have gone very bad. And they became stars. Same thing I saw in 90s. They were different. They change. And I mean, I was in 1970. How many students used to willingly go to class? We were only about 20-25%. I was not always. In the beginning, I used to go to class. After that, only 20-25% studied. Rest of us didn't study. I studied in early part, didn't study in later part. So students are always like that. I think this happens in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 colleges also. But once we graduate, when need arises, many of us become very good. This is something in us. We are good in schools, we are good in our career. I think same thing will happen even to today's students. And we have today very large. As I told you, we have million engineering students and probably 5 million college students. That's our catchment. We need only 100,000, 200,000 of them to become very good to put India on a different pedestal. And we have more than that per year. I am looking at only 500 of them becoming Rancho every year. 500 of them become Rancho, they will change India. So thank you. There is a question.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much.
Yeah, a question from Mohan
Yeah.
Raj Pandian.
Yes,
Mohan
Mohan Raj.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I just
Yes,
want to
go ahead.
know, I mean, is healthcare still a priority?
Very
Sector
much.
and-
Come and visit HTIC. Come and
Okay.
meet Dr. Mohan Shankar, Health
Okay.
Technology Innovation Center. Now, I'm not saying that's the only place, but you will be amazed, amazed what is getting done.
I see.
I think any area today, technology is a priority. We understand that and do things.
As an alumni, I mean, do we have to come in with the idea and then, I mean, work?
No.
stages
Come and
or, I
spend
mean-
some time with us.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Visit us, see the research park. You
Okay.
will know while discuss. We'll give you a tour. I mean, not always. If you're coming in a group of 4 or 5, I'll always find an hour and a half. If you're coming individually, I'll try to find some time.
Sure, sir.
But
Sure.
we'll interact with you. There are others that you will do this. Write a mail to me. I'm writing my email ID here
Right.
on the chat box.
Yes,
Write a mail to me. 100% response you will get. If you do not get response, rewrite to me. For some reason, it has gone into the into a probably a
Spam mail.
garbage or something like
Yes.
that. Ashok@tenet.res.in. I've just typed my email in the chat box. And please write to me and visit us. I will like everyone. Now Alumni Club is also there. Anand will be very, very, Anand and others, Ramesh, others will be very, very happy to host you there. Visit us, spend time with us.
Yeah, we'll do that, sir. Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Professor,
you.
I have a question which is really around availability of risk capital for some of these tech ventures. I'm very familiar with the VC industry, but you think there's enough of that available? Do we need
I
to do
think that is available. What was required, as I told you, was a Little Angels Fund. Up to 50 lakhs, we support. We give grant up to 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. We then give loans for up to 40 lakhs, maybe even 50 lakhs. There is a gap between 50 lakhs and 2 crore. I'm creating a Little Angels Fund. If you are slightly well off, commit to about 10 lakhs rupees per year. Invest in 3-4 companies a year at your choice. I'm going to send a mail. I want 500 of our alumni and industrialists to commit, and we will fund that. We will fund them. We will have a very good committee. You will still have a choice whether to invest in a particular company or not. We have worked out the structure. We'll let you know.
Professor, on
There
behalf
is a
of
gap
IIT,
there. There is a gap there.
Yeah,
Beyond what 2 crore, there is no gap. As of now, I don't see any gap. Of course, is the money as much there as in US and others? No. So that India will change over time. That's right. I think there's a you can keep complaining. I'll say don't complain. Get into it. There's enough to be done. As and when you require something more will be done.
Sure, Professor. I think on behalf of IIT Alumni Center, we will definitely sort of get the word around, and I am sure many of us will also be interested in joining in on that fund. So that could be one concrete next step from today. Any more questions? We still have 5 minutes. We have time with the professor on
Any
topic.
comment, question? Anybody wants to say anything? I even asked many of my people working with me to join. Kannan, you have a question or comment? I saw you a little while earlier.
You're on mute, Kannan. Kannan,
You are on mute.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just unmuted myself.
Yeah.
No, I think the demographics of India, the large number of people is actually the biggest opportunity. And whatever we can do, we find that people in, especially in small towns, rural areas, they're just looking for an opportunity to break out of what they see as extremely confining circumstances. And a little bit of opportunity, they are very enthusiastic to pick up. And this kind of an initiative would certainly draw a lot of them in that direction.
I think Sanjay has his hand up. Sanjay?
Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, Ashok, I do commit to giving you, putting 10 lakhs for next year.
Okay,
For this,
very good.
because I put
We'll
about
send
a-
you. We are just
I put-
founding this fund. We'll send it.
Yeah, because I put in about 1 crore for IITK.
No,
I can
don't,
certainly
this
do
is not a grant. You have to invest
no.
in individual companies.
I'm putting monies for individual projects. I put 30 lakhs into NUS. I'm committing 10 lakhs to you right away.
Fine, great.
Right.
There is also a young alumni of ours, Manmohan, who has joined us recently. He graduated from electrical engineering department, and then he went to work in rural area. Prime Minister, the rural fund in 2011, 12, 13. And he has a huge experience. He has come back and worked with us. We actually need to do a lot for rural India also. Manmohan, do you have any comment on
Yeah,
the
Manmohan.
talk?
Love to hear your experience, Manmohan.
Yes, sir. Actually, I felt while working there, I felt that there is a lot we can, especially in healthcare or malnutrition or maternal mortality. In all these areas, make some products. That's what I felt. And I'll get back to you when I have some very concrete plans in these areas.
What do you think of the 10x plan, Manmohan? First time you're hearing the 10x.
I read about it from. I think it's a very ambitious goal, and we need to create a lot of wealth for our country, and it should percolate into all the rural areas and all.
You are now a staff with us. Do or die.
Yes, sir, definitely.
I have another staff of mine, Rima, sitting there. You want to say something, Rima? You think we will achieve this?
India doesn't have any other choice, Prof. In your words.
You
Yes, but I personally say we are associated with this 10x goal for the last 5 months. Initially, we all were baffled and we were confused. Is this something realistic, what Prof is talking about? But as we are taking one small step every day, we see this is possible. The kind of work which we have done for scaled commercialization or towards 100% RE in the last 5 months is very promising. And we are very hopeful that with all your support, with all your feedback, with all your continuous guidance in terms of how we can enhance and take it better, we will definitely be able to achieve it, Prof.
Thank you. Meenakshi, you have something to say. I'm now seeing the people who are on screen.
Yes.
And Meenakshi Ramesh. I don't recognize you, Meenakshi.
She's my wife.
I'm Ramesh's other half.
She's my better
Okay,
half.
okay.
Not an IIT alum, but I think I am like an informal honorary member of
Yes,
this club.
yes.
I
Even
have
I am alum though. Yeah.
yeah. So alum, very, very, very inspiring and energizing presentation. I work with non-profit organizations, and I completely see how you're saying that such innovations can change the landscape and the entire nature of the life that we can offer to the people of this country. And I have to share with my children how you used a Bollywood analogy in a presentation. They'll be very amused and excited. So thank you for this lovely presentation.
You know, I have a very interesting Bollywood analogy that Rima will help me with. In fact, the question that was asked to me repeatedly, that are we going to get there? Is there these things? So there was a very interesting dialogue by in a movie by Shah Rukh Khan. जब किसी चीज को सिज्जत से चाहो,
Yes.
whenever you want something badly, with sijjat se chaho, with whole heart,
Puri
तब
kainat.
सारी कायनात,
Yes.
the whole universe इस
उससे
साजिश में लग जाती है, start conspiring इससे तुमको मिलाने में, to
Bilkul.
get you to reach, to get that goal done. I think that is what I think, and that's the reason I think I'm getting very good people to join me. They are ready to work very hard. Of course, they get beaten by me. Sorry about that. I apologize to them because I'm actually getting them to be ready to take up this very, very challenging task with them.
So, Professor, on that very positive and uplifting note, I hope we will reconvene this group once in 2030.
Is there anybody else like Kumar
Yeah.
Kanduri? Is there anybody else? Mohan Raj? No, you have already asked question. Anybody else wants to ask any questions? Before we conclude, we can spend few more minutes. Manu Swami, I see. Shekhar. Ganapati, sir. Ganapati,
I
sir.
think you know, Professor, more than anything else, I've been following this intensely, and yes, it is ambitious, the 10x, but it's got to be done for the sake of India. You know, in that, I think we are with you entirely on that. And you know, I can't but help quote Robert Browning's very famous poem where he said, "A man's reach must exceed his grasp, or else what's a heaven for?" I think that's in front and center of your ambition, and I think we are with you collectively in ensuring this is delivered. And you know, India needs not one of Ashok Junwala, but multiple if we need to get where we all desire to get. So let me, on this happy note, wish you a very happy and prosperous Diwali to all of you. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Raghutama Rao, you are there.
Yes.
Don't keep quiet.
Well, Professor, this is a clarion call. You know, in a way, you have sounded the bugles of what original charter of IIT was. I think you have just dusted it out and brought it out. I think we'll rally. No, there's no question about it.
You have a huge experience, Raghutama.
Of course.
Get this done. It is.
All shoulder to the wheel.
See, I can only play a certain role. It is all of you who have to make this possible. Okay, anybody else wants to say something, or we'll hand it over to back to Ramesh. He wanted to conclude, and I didn't let him conclude. So if nobody else is.
The only conclusion I'm saying is I look forward to hosting this group in 2030 and looking back and saying mission achieved, right? It may say mission impossible today, but collective pride will be if we can say mission achieved. So Professor, thank you for holding us together for an hour. Thank you for sort of an inspirational way forward. For those who haven't visited IIT Madras Research Park, it is a fabulous facility. I think please do visit it. I think just a visit there will be very energizing. And the IIT Alumni Club is on the top floor of the Research Park. We'll be happy to host all of you as you come there. Thank you, Professor, again for this lovely evening. And
yeah, there are few people who are chatting. Unfortunately, I won't have chat messages once we disconnect. I will like
Sendil yeah,
like you, even if somebody of you want the presentation or link to the presentation, write to me. My email I have already given on the chat. Thank you.
There was a question. Please.
Yes.
No, they did want to get a copy of the presentation. We'll
Anybody who wants a copy of the presentation, they send me a mail. I will send it to them.
Yeah.
They have to send me a mail.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for attending. I have just been told that this was one of our best attended webinars. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.